All right, ladies, good morning again. What we're going to do is that for today, we are going to finish the historical, well, not finish the historical process, but we're going to look at migration inside and outside of the Caribbean. We have at least 3 more topics to finish historical process. It's a very long topic, and by now everybody should be tired of the historical process. However, on our timeline, we are at this point. Well, we have the coming of the indentured laborers from India and China and Africa. We are between this period right here. We are from 1838 to present. So what we're doing is that we're looking at the migration period, how people would have traveled within the Caribbean. So we would have looked at some of the different migration patterns in the Caribbean, intra-Caribbean migration. What are some of the places that people would have intra-Caribbean migrations? What are some of them? Recap.
Jamaica to Honduras.
Jamaica to Honduras, yes.
Jamaica to Barbados.
Jamaica to Barbados. And so we have quite a few, right? One of the major one that we would have discussed was which one? To a Central American country. Intra-regional.
Sorry, was it Venezuela? No.
Panama?
Panama, yes. And what are the 2 reasons the British Caribbean people would have gone to Panama? They would have gone there first to work on
The canal.
the canal, but
Railways.
before the railways first, yes, you're correct. And the second one is the canal. So we know for sure that Caribbean people has been migrating. Now, the objective for today's class is to examine the impact of Caribbean migrants on their host countries, right? So there are 2 terms that we could see in the exam. We could see metropolitan countries and host countries. What do we mean by metropolitan countries? Metropolitan countries. What do we mean by metropolitan countries? Anybody has ever heard of the term?
Sir?
The metropole. Go ahead.
You mean like major cities, like countries like probably like America or Germany? Or...
Yes, those are metropolitan countries.
So then just developed countries then?
So the developed countries, for example, like places like the United States, France, Canada, England. Well, England is not a country, but Britain and all of these places. Now, their host countries, where is my definition? So, in other words, metropolitan countries can refer to countries with a history of imperialism. So those countries that had colonies or still have colonies are what we term today as the developed countries. Those countries are the metropolitan countries, right? So give me some examples of, we name it already. So just to reinforce, the US, Canada, France, Britain are examples of metropolitan countries. Host countries now, anywhere an immigrant go and settle, that country is considered their host country. The country in which they are from is called their country of origin. All right? Rose?
Yes.
Joanna? So what is a host country?
So this is the country that a person migrates to. So that is where they move from their home country and they go to another country. The country that they move to, that's the host country, sir.
Very good. Robinson,
Yes, sir.
what is the country of origin?
Is that also the host country?
No. Anyone want to help her?
Sir, the country of origin is where the migrant comes from.
Where the migrants come from. Correct. So wherever the migrant is coming from, that is the country of origin. Metropolitan country. Gilbert, you want to reinforce that definition for us?
So, sir, metropolitan countries are what we call developed countries today, and it's just like it says, the imperialism is like their influence through colonizing other countries and having like big military forces or whatever.
All right, very good, excellent. Now, so one of the things, ladies, is that we looked last class at how when people migrate from the Caribbean abroad or to different places, how it impacts the Caribbean. So we look at how it impacts the Caribbean in a negative and a positive way. Two positive effects on the Caribbean when it comes to migration. Gardner, Jody?
Yes, sir. In
Two
or
positive effects.
in or out, sir.
When on the Caribbean, when we leave the Caribbean.
Well, there people get more job opportunities.
All right, so that is one. Anyone else?
Sir, remittances.
Remittances is one. You get money. So that is a benefit for the Caribbean. So once people leave, it has a positive, it can also have a positive effect on the Caribbean. A negative effect on the Caribbean. Go ahead, Sinclair.
Well, you have brain drains and increase in viruses and diseases like HIV, AIDS, and COVID.
COVID, exactly. So those are some of the examples. And also we can't leave out the common flu and the cold, right? So ladies, these are some past paper questions on the topic that we're going to do. And in 2007, it asks Green, Abigail Green.
Yes, sir.
Could you read the questions for me, please?
Coming, sir.
Okay.
Caribbean migrants in the United States and North America have limited impact on those societies. Present arguments for or against this statement.
All right, so that is one. Read the next question.
Examine the impact of Rastafarian culture on the metropolitan societies of North America and Europe.
All right, the next question.
Wait. Okay. The Caribbean needs its diaspora in order to fully understand itself. Examine the extent to which Caribbean diasporic communities influence the formation of Caribbean identity.
All right, good. So these questions are very, very popular questions on the exam about the impact of Caribbean migrants on their host countries, such as places in the United States. Actually, this part of the question should be United Kingdom. Yes. migrants in the United Kingdom and North America. So the first question basically asks, Caribbean migrants in the United States and North America have limited impact on those society. It is a statement, right? You don't have to agree with it and you don't have to disagree with it. You can also agree with it and you can also disagree with it. It is a very open question, right? And the 30 marks question tends to present themselves like that. Give a quote and it asks your opinion. If you see a question where it asks to what extent mean you are going to present a position on the issue, whether you're for it, against it, or you can present both sides. In this case, it asks whether Caribbean migrants, once they lived abroad, if they have impact on those societies. You can say yes or you can say no. Another question from 2010 asks, examine the impact of the Rastafarian culture on metropolitan societies of North America and Europe. How Rasta would have influenced, that culture of Rastafarianism would have influenced countries abroad, right? We are going to look at Rastafari next year. So in January, we're going to look at it. So we are not touching that part of the syllabus today. And for the 2014 question, it basically examined the extent to which Caribbean diasporic communities influence the formation of Caribbean identity. How Caribbean diasporic communities have an impact on creating this identity in their host countries. So these are 3 examples of questions. We have much more, but these are 3 examples of questions that ask how Caribbean people impact the country in which how Caribbean people impact the country in which they go and live, right? Especially the metropolitan country. Now, we're going to read some quotes, 3 quotes from Carol Boyce Davis' book, and she wrote a book recently, I believe it was, well, it's not recent, 2013, and her book, the title of her book is Caribbean Spaces, Escapes from Twilight Zone. Beautiful book, and she in her book, she has delved into the different Caribbean spaces that would have developed outside of the Caribbean. Now, I'm going to ask someone to read this for me, please. So we have 3 quotes. Yes. Volunteer.
Okay, sir, I'll read.
Mm-hmm.
The Caribbean diaspora spaces in the continental context refer to those locations in which there are distinctly identified recreations of Caribbean communities following migration. Essential ingredients include a sizable demographic shift in the population to this given location and the development of Caribbean business communities, travel agencies and barrel shipping agencies, locks and braid, hairdressers, botanicas, assorted businesses, restaurants, bakeries, and shops dedicated solely to the preparing or selling of Caribbean food products, fresh produce and grown provisions, roti and patty shops, entertainment in the form of excursions, dances, Caribbean block parties, parang, concerts, fetes, is that fetes?
Yes, pets, yeah.
Fetes and other similar activities contributes to the recreation of Caribbean culture in diaspora. These extend the notion of Caribbean space as a larger ontological referent as they attempt to reproduce a decolonized set of arrangements.
Yes, thank you very much, Gilbert. So what she's saying here is that Caribbean people has recreate Caribbean communities in their host countries. And one of the main ways in which they have recreated communities in places like North America and Europe is one, because of their sizable demographic shift in terms of there's quite a lot of people from the Caribbean living in these spaces, right? The population is quite a lot. And so that's one of the reasons it's a recreation. Not only is that you're going to see quite a lot of Caribbean people living in a particular geographic space in these territories, but also they are going to bring with them their businesses. So one, they are going to establish travel agencies, barrel shipping agencies. So for example, you know for sure that Caribbean people live in a particular place. You as a Caribbean man or woman, you're going to establish a barrel shipping company because you know Caribbean people love to send back barrels to the Caribbean. They are going to hairdressing salons. They are going to also establish restaurants that sell Caribbean food, patty shops, all of these different stuff. Not only that, ladies, but Caribbean people are going to have their entertainment in all their different communities that they settle. You're going to find that their entertainment is just the same. For example, they are going to have, yes?
People are in the waiting room.
But who? Lazarus?
Talia.
Yeah, but I let
Yes,
her
sir.
in.
Okay.
Thanks much. So the entertainment, so they're going to have like excursions to the Caribbean. They're going to have dances. Everywhere you go, you're going to see a Caribbean black party parang, which is a type of dance from Trinidad. Concert, fits, all of these different stuff. So Caribbean people is basically recreating Caribbean communities in these territories. All right. Next person. Shannon, you want to read this for me, please?
Sure.
You can read this quote for me, please?
Sure. But there is more. Caribbean record shops, music procedures, and related networks for the production of shows. Communications media ranging from newspapers in London, New York, or Miami. Blogs and e-journals, newsletters, party flyers and cards, radio and television stations, soccer and cricket clubs and matches, language diversity, including Creole, Patois, Spanglish, and specific Caribbean forms of Spanish, and a public or street-oriented culture manifested in liming and its associated stories and boats, street banter and calling out, loud talking, conspicuous, sometimes ridiculous, clothing styles, and public male-female flirtation and promises. A certain intergenerational camaraderie and socializing, particularly in relations that have to do with the care of children and the elderly, shopping for foods and their preparation, beach outings, and other transgenerational family celebrations with food, music, and dance also create Caribbean space.
Thank you very much. So what she's saying is that wherever Caribbean people dwell, right? What you're going to have as part of their thing is that they are going to speak the Patois, the Creole, Spanglish, which is this Spanish English mixture. they are going to have lime. This is like sitting on the block. You know, when you pass some communities, or maybe in our own communities that we live, people always on the block sit down, or always sit down outside on a chair or something like that, or a stool. That type of imagery they are doing. That's what some of the things that they are going to recreate wherever they actually go. Now, I can go into this, but also, all right, we'll go into this part later. Now, one of the first major effects that Caribbean people has on the metropolitan country is that we provide them with labor. We supply them with labor in terms of domestic, nurses, teachers, artisan, and when I mean artisan, I mean like plumber, carpenter, electrician. We provide these societies with quite a lot of labor. Now, after World War II, several Caribbean people would have traveled to Britain to fill the gap left by those who died during the World War. So after the Second World War, quite a lot of British people died. And even those who didn't die, they could not work because they were handicapped as a result of the war. So a lot of Caribbean people left within the 1950s. A lot of Caribbean people left within the 1950s, and they would have gone to Britain and they would have done work in the transportation sector. They were conductors, bus drivers, train drivers, nurses.
Sir?
Another thing, ladies, that is very important is that in the 1950s, or since the 1950s, Caribbean people has provided agricultural workers in Canada and the United States. We, from the Caribbean, would have sent people to work on farms, very, very large farms in the United States and Canada. And have you ever heard of the term farm workers?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so those are the persons who they are talking. That is from the 1950s. They have been providing farm workers to these territories. Now, I'm going to show you something about the Windrush generation. And the Windrush was the name of the ship on which Caribbean people would have gone on to the UK during the 1950s. Let me know if you're hearing.
I take this issue very seriously. The Home Secretary apologised to the House of Commons yesterday for any anxiety caused, and I want to apologise to you today because we are genuinely sorry for any anxiety that has been caused.
Too little, too late. We have essentially a cover-up where the government denied people their basic rights and were exposed by the press, not by their own self-examination. And I do believe that if you have a rotten building, even if you paint it outside, even in Commonwealth colours, as they've done with Savage Javid, put a new person in, the problem is what's behind it. And those people have not got their rights yet.
right, ladies. So for the example, the Windrush generation is the Caribbean people would have gone, left the Caribbean, this space, gone to the UK on the ship, the Windrush, that was the name of the ship, and they would have lived in the UK from the 1950s until present. However, recently, the UK said that those persons need to go back to the Caribbean. So can you imagine that you would have lived in the UK from the 1950s, from when you were actually, when your country or Jamaica or Barbados was part of Britain? When Jamaica and Barbados was part of Britain, and they are telling you that you need to go back to the Caribbean. Now, all of your children that were actually born in England at this time, they are sending back those children to the Caribbean. I believe that is one of the greatest injustice in modern history, because we people from the Caribbean would have left while we were still under the British government, when we were still colonies of Britain from the 1950s, we were British citizens during this period, left, and we would have gone to Britain. And then now in 2015, 2020, they are telling you that you need to go back to the Caribbean because you do not have British citizenship. That is a very evil act of the British government. Another, I'm going to share about the experiences of the Black nurses who would have, well, Caribbean nurses who would have left the Caribbean during the 1950s, and they would have worked in the hospital. What were some of their experience? What were their experience like?
Life in the mother country was proving to be far more challenging than they had expected as they strived to build careers. Many white patients just didn't want to be treated by Black nurses.
They never prepared you for how the patients would treat you. And, you know, they'd slap your hand away and say, don't touch me, and, you know, your black is going to rub off.
What kind of houses you all lived in? Is it mud hut or tree houses? Is it true that Black people's got tail?
This man called me, you know, black bastard. And I just screamed at him and I said, oh, I am so sick to death of you. I said, now tell me something I don't know. Surprise me. Tell me something I don't know.
How could people actually look at you without knowing you and make assumptions about you? That was so horrible.
You just reached a stage you cannot believe that this is the country that you were told is your mother country. You can't believe that this degree of ignorance exists.
I knew I couldn't change being Black, and as long as my behavior, my care was impeccable, you couldn't find anything to complain about my care. If you complained about me being Black, there's nothing I can change about it. That's who I am, a Black woman who happened to be a nurse, caring for you.
All right, ladies. So that's one example of Caribbean, some of the experiences that Caribbean people would have faced in providing labor towards this country, even though it's a benefit because they had no nurses. Even today, they have problem with finding nurses. These societies and teachers and domestic, most of their people are not doing the domestic work. Caribbean people is going there to do it. Another effect that we have on those societies is that we form communities. Anywhere we go, we form communities. So for example, Little Haiti There's a place in Florida that is called Little Haiti. You have Little Havana, Quiet Kingston 21. Everywhere you go in Toronto, you have Jamaican communities. In the UK, you have Birmingham, London, Bristol, all of these different places, right? So we have formed communities in these, in the countries that we would have gone, very strong communities. There's entire blocks of area where people live that is just Caribbean people live on those blocks. A friend of mine said that when she go to New York, she see everybody that she has never seen before in New York because everybody is just there, right? And so you will find the different communities that have been formed. Now, once we form communities, ladies, one of the benefit or economic benefit of forming communities is that we're going to establish businesses in those areas. And there's two videos I want to show you on two main communities that have been formed, Little Haiti and Little Havana.
Little Havana is Miami's vibrant Cuban heart. With many Latin American art galleries and authentic restaurants, is a must-see in Miami.
Cuban coffee is meant to be shared, right? So Miami has this culture of having these little cups, and then we drink coffee at all hours of the day. You may be saying, Grace, why before the empanadas? That's how we do here in Miami. Salud!
Salud! Salud! And of course, you can't miss that you have a picadillo with stuffed empanada at the oldest restaurant in the area. Let's enjoy. Little Havana Walk of Fame is similar to the one in Hollywood, but here the stars are given to the Latin American artists, musicians, writers, and actors. Maximo Gomez Park is also known as Domino's Park, Little Havana landmark, meeting spots for older Cubans. Here they meet to sip on a coffee, talk with their friends, and play some domino. Tradition for over 35 years.
You know, graffiti has become very prominent in Miami. This actually, in the language of graffiti art, this is called a piece.
A piece.
A masterpiece. It's short for masterpiece.
We are at the cigar factory in Little Havana. Here, you not only can buy the cigars, but you can watch the real Cubans making real cigar.
All right, ladies, and Little Haiti, another part in Florida.
When the weather drops below 40 degrees, I jump on a quick flight to Miami, Florida. I don't come for the parties, the shopping, or even the beach. I come for the culture. On this adventure, I came to explore Haitian art. Classy boutique hotel? Check. Vagabond motifs? Check. Tasty food and fancy adult drinks? Double check. I am ready for exploration.
Hey, how we doing? This is Chef Creole and we in Little Haiti. And for you that don't know about authentic Creole style cooking, woo-wee! You're in the right place, baby.
came from New York and I looked all around the Little Haiti. There wasn't nothing but just letters in English. So I wanted to change that type of environment by changing the letterings into design, into pictures, into, you know, things that people that don't know how to speak English, they'll recognize. Like, for instance, a restaurant. I wanted to paint some chicken in front of it. So the Botanicas, I wanted to paint the scent. When people that doesn't know how to read English, by seeing the picture, that really, because that's just the way it is in Haiti.
The Little Haiti Cultural Complex is pretty much the backbone of Little Haiti. We breathe life into all of the art and the music and the dancing that happens in the area. It's really great to see how the neighborhood is sort of catching up with all that we've been doing all these years.
The music here in Little Haiti is definitely diverse. The Haitian culture is a beautiful culture, if you ask me. So here at Midtown, we're just homing in on that and trying to produce the best product as possible.
I don't know if I was one of the first artists to settle in Little Haiti, but a few of my colleagues have moved and bought places here, and some of them are very happy with their spaces here. It's attracting a lot more attention as a neighborhood these days. Art galleries have moved in.
Yeah, Little Haiti c'est yon côté qui gen vraiment gros passé historique, ou paquet histoire qui lié avec, mais faut faire connaître que il pas seulement lié avec bagage négatif. Moi pense que en plus monde t'a supposé venir visiter parce que il gagne vraiment un paquet artistes, un paquet hip-hopper mais qui fait graffiti, breakdance avec MC. So yon côté et pour gagner une destination pour aller visiter, c'est d'abord ici pour venir apprendre un pile de art.
Little Haiti is welcoming.
Little Haiti is the reality of true tradition.
Little Haiti is central.
Little Haiti is culture untapped.
Little Haiti is fun.
Little Haiti is a pearl. It's a pearl of the city of Miami.
Little Haiti is diverse.
And what I want people to know is that Little Haiti is love.
All right. Ladies, so we know for sure that these are two of the communities that were developed or formed by Caribbean immigrants in the United States, more so in this Florida. Now, Caribbean people has also contributed in terms of to these societies in the form of festivals. So for example, in England, we have Notting Hill Farm Carnival, we have Leeds Carnival, Bristol Carnival. In Canada, we have Caribana. In the US, we have Miami Carnival. And one of the biggest one of all is the Labor Day Parade. Now, for sure, Caribbean people has contributed in terms of these festivals. So for example, let us look at the Labor Day Parade. So we know that the Labor Day Parade for sure would have started in the 1920s. That was how early Caribbean people would have started the Labor Day Parade, and they basically take over the United States on Labor Day. There are some economic impact of Labor Day Parade for the US. Once there's Labor Day Parade going on, it attracts over 3 million people. 3 million people. So wherever you live in the US, once you have Caribbean ancestry, you're going to ensure that you go to New York to celebrate. Same thing, wherever you live in Canada, as Caribbean people, you're going to find yourself in Toronto for Caribana. Same thing in the UK. You're going to find yourself in Notting Hill for Carnival. So what this carnival has done is that it provided a tourism benefit for the cities in which they migrate. The carnivals are being held in. It provides foreign exchange for those places. The hotel industry, because once you have a carnival taking place, a Caribbean carnival taking place, the entire hotel industry is going to be, it will benefit from it. All the hotels rooms are going to be taken up. Land and air transportation, because once you're there, you're going to find that people going to need taxis, and airlines, North American Airlines, are going to provide route to these cities that these carnivals are held in. And I'm going to show you a Labor Day parade from, I believe this was 2019 or 2018.
Hey everybody, I'm Michelle Brown and this is Island Vibes NY. Today we're on Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn for the largest celebration of Caribbean culture in the United States, the annual West Indian Day Parade.
Everybody 2018, man, let's go!
It is the biggest bacchanal in Brooklyn every Labor Day. Nearly 2 million people, young and old, converging on Crown Heights to soak up Caribbean culture and see island pride in full effect.
Let's go Haiti!
Representing Belize!
This is the true essence of Carnival right here.
Suriname also in the house, even though the country is really located in South America.
I guess it's comparable to all of the other West Indies. Like, it's super warm, the people are incredibly friendly, the food is fantastic.
The West Indian Day Parade features elaborate, colorful costumes and floats worn by revelers from all over the islands.
Dominic is an awesome island. We are untouched. We're a beautiful nature island of the Caribbean.
And this party wasn't just at street level. Take a look up and see these revelers entertaining the crowd way above the ground on stilts. The sound of steel and African drums filled the carnival atmosphere as people danced, or should we say, wine and grind to calypso music. Let's not forget the mouth-watering Caribbean food. It is one of the biggest attractions of the parade. From Jamaican jerk chicken and rice and peas to roasted corn, devoured by this Trini Haitian couple.
Amazing.
Amazing, amazing.
Nothing else like it.
To all kinds of tropical fruits.
Mango, kiwi, pineapple, watermelon, papaya.
From the food to the costumes to the music, the West Indian Day Parade in New York is a celebration of culture.
Go Grenada. And I represent Jamaica, Clarendon.
That will have you longing for a trip to the islands. I hope you enjoyed this look at the one-of-a-kind West Indian Day Parade here in Brooklyn. Thanks for checking out Island Vibes NY. Until next time, one love.
Is anyone hearing, sir?
No,
No.
ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, so, all right. Sorry about that.
Sir, you've been talking?
Yes, I've been talking.
Your mic was
Oh my
muted.
God. Sorry. All right. Sorry about that. So, all right. So, ladies, changes, social changes. What are some of the another impact that Caribbean people have on the US is social changes, right? And so Caribbean people has been the very first set of people to migrate to the United States, England, and Canada and advocate for equality with whites and to finish away with the segregation laws and for voting rights. The reason for this, we would have ended slavery way before the United States. We ended slavery in the Caribbean from 1838. They ended slavery in 1865. We would have finished, we had voting rights in the Caribbean by the 1940s or in the 1940s. They never had voting rights. Blacks in the US didn't have voting rights until the late 1960s. So we have always been ahead of the United States when it comes to social justice and equality. All right? So once Caribbean people migrate to these territories, we are going to impact these societies when it comes to social change. We're going to speak out against racism. We're going to advocate for equality. We are going to advocate for the segregation laws to be abolished. We are going to advocate for voting rights. Right now, Caribbean people are very much involved in the Black Lives Matter movement. Some very important persons, for example, Malcolm X, his mother was from Grenada. Du Bois, W.E.B. Du Bois, his parents was Bahamian. Claude McKay was born in Jamaica, moved to the US, and he was very much a part of the movement there to end the segregation between blacks and whites. And also Marcus Garvey and Louis Farrakhan. One of his parents is from Jamaica and one is from St. Kitts. So we as Caribbean people has always been agents of social change in the Caribbean and our descendants. Even today, ladies, when it comes to politics, in the US, we have been a major, had major impact on the US politics. For example, Shirley Chisholm, she was born in Barbados and she was the first Black woman to run for the US Congress. So the US Congress is like what we call the parliament. And also she was the first Black woman to be elected to the US Congress. Then the first Black Secretary of State in the US is Colin Powell. And now we have Kamala Harris. Her father is from Jamaica, first Black female president, vice president candidate. So we have been agent of changes and we have been representing and we have represented well. Whether people were born in the Caribbean or their children who were born in the US from Caribbean parentage, we have done well. Another thing, ladies, is that the Caribbean controls who should become president or the outcome of the US presidential election. You see that small state that is called Florida? Florida is very important in the US to determine who wins the election. And majority of the people that live in in Florida, they are from Cuban descent or they are from Caribbean descent, the majority. So we, based on our demographic makeup, our family members that live in Florida determines who win the presidency, because any political party in the US that actually wins Florida wins the presidency of the United States. So every time when Barack Obama win, they would have voted for Barack Obama because of his Caribbean heritage. Not only they have involved themselves in politics, but also they have involved them, not big politics, but they have also impacted themselves when it comes to the local politics, state politics. And one of such is my cousin, who she's doing very well currently in Georgia.
Guan Caribbean Life TV viewers, this is your girl Cherry Garden, and we are here inside of Atlanta City Hall. Today we're celebrating the Caribbean American opening ceremonies for the Caribbean American Heritage Month, and we've caught up with none other than Miss Janice Laws. She is the Democratic nominee for the Georgia Insurance Commissioner. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm having fun. I love being around my Caribbean people. Yeah, so it's great to be here with everyone. And it's great coming off of this win in the primary to be the Democratic nominee for Georgia Insurance Commissioner, and to be the next Insurance Commissioner of Georgia is an amazing, amazing opportunity.
That is phenomenal. Part of your speech that you did, you talked about how there's not that many Caribbean people represented in governments here in Atlanta. So tell us a little bit about your heritage.
Yes, well, I am from Jamaica. Woohoo! Yes, I was born in Jamaica, grew up in Jamaica, lived there for the first 17 years of my life. So I went to Charlie Mount High School. Big up Charlie Mount High School. Yes, and so I've been here most of my adult life, but Jamaica is my home and is definitely a big part of who I am today.
That is phenomenal. What led you to get into government?
Yes. Well, I've been in the insurance industry for 16 years, and so that is my background. I own my own insurance agency, and so as you guys know, whenever you have any problems with your insurance, you call your insurance agent. So I got tired of not being able to do anything for clients on a real level, on a level that makes a difference. When it comes to rates and claims and things that really, really impact people, I wanted to be able to make that difference. And so I decided this year I'm going to run for Georgia Insurance Commissioner so I can fight at the state level, because that's where all the decisions are made when it comes to talking about your rates. Rates in Georgia are #1 in the country. It's so high, so outrageous, and no one's doing anything about it. So I'm committed to fighting these high car insurance rates in Georgia. So make sure you guys come out and vote on November 6th this year, because we won the primary already, and now we got to take it all the way through the general. Okay, vote Janice Laws so we can make this happen. I will be the first woman, the first Black, and the first ever Caribbean to hold a statewide office in the state of Georgia, and also to hold this particular office as insurance commissioner. So we're about to make history. Join me in being part of history in the making. All right, thank you.
This is phenomenal.
All right, ladies, so that's Janice Laws. I remember when she actually left for the United States, and she's doing exceptionally well when it comes to politics in Georgia. And she has made my family very, very proud. Now, ladies, one thing for sure is that we know that Caribbean people has been very, very influential in US in politics, not only in the US, but also in the UK. So we have influenced these countries when it comes to politics. Social change, we have led for social change. We have also impacted them when it comes to festival. We have bring our type of dances and festivals and carnivals to these territories, metropolitan countries, and we have given them a lot. Not only given them our culture, but we have also provided some economic boosts for them, because once we are there, and we have our carnival or whatever, we are going to bring a lot of crowd, right? Because we are just, people just love Caribbean excitement. The next thing, ladies, is that we have formed communities in these societies, and even 2 communities are named of Caribbean countries. Little Havana, named after the capital city of Cuba, and Little Haiti, named from Haiti. And we have Jamaicans living all over Brooklyn, Queens, all over these different places. We have formed communities in these places. And not only we have formed communities, but wherever we form our communities, we have our businesses. Also, we have always provided these societies with labor. And I believe that is one of our great, well, I shouldn't say the greatest, but one of our most important contributions is that we have provided them with labor at every single level. Caribbean people has provided these societies with labor. So when you go into the exam, and if you should get the question, Caribbean migrants in the United Kingdom and North America have limited impact on those societies, present arguments for or against. If I am in your position, you can say against if you have your points to back it up. But from what I've presented here, yes, they have contributed significantly. They have contributed significantly when it comes to their labor. They have given these society labor. They have given these formed communities in these societies. They would have also the economic benefits of the festivals in these societies. Social change, we have led social change in these societies, and we have involved directly in the politics of these society. So if you go into the exam, for sure, we know, and you get a question like this, we know for sure, ladies, that we have contributed significantly to these societies. And in the same way, you would have argued 2007 question the same way you argued 2014. All right, ladies, any question?
No.
All right, ladies, sorry to rush today, but I have to move on to the next topic tomorrow. All right, so see you tomorrow, and tomorrow we're going to look at the historical process. Ensure that you rewatch the class, the recording. The PowerPoint will be posted in Google Classroom, and from there you can just rewatch and ask any question that you have after that. All right, ladies, enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.